Most people think they're bad with money. But here's the strange part. Many of them are actually doing better financially than they realize. Not because they're rich, but because they're quietly doing the exact behaviors that build wealth without noticing it. And the problem is, modern culture has completely distorted what financial progress actually looks like. Think about what society tells us wealth should look like. Luxury cars, designer clothes, expensive vacations, people online living what looks like a permanent highlight reel. But behind the scenes, something very different is happening. Millions of people driving expensive cars are one unexpected bill away from financial chaos. A broken phone, a medical bill, a small car repair, and suddenly everything falls apart. So the real question isn't, do you look wealthy? The real question is, are you financially stable in ways most people aren't? Because the truth is, financial progress often looks boring. And that's exactly why most people miss it. The biggest lie about money is this: wealth is about how much you spend. In reality, wealth is about how well your system works. And there are quiet signs your financial system is working, even if your bank account doesn't look impressive yet. Let's talk about a few of them. One of the biggest hidden signs of financial progress is simple. Your bills get paid, and they get paid without drama. No juggling due dates. No choosing which bill to delay. No late fees stacking up. That might sound like the bare minimum, but statistically, a huge number of people are constantly scrambling just to keep their lights on. So if your financial life feels stable and predictable, that's not normal. That's progress. Because stability is the foundation of wealth. Without it, nothing else works. Here's another quiet sign you're doing well. At the end of the month, there's something left. Maybe not a lot. Maybe it's $50. Maybe it's $100. But the important thing is that it exists. Because that leftover money creates something powerful. Options. Without surplus, every decision feels like survival. But with even a little breathing room, you can start thinking ahead. And that small gap between income and expenses, that's where wealth begins. There's a huge difference between two types of people. The first group earns money, spends it, and resets to zero every month. The second group does something slightly different. They save something, not huge amounts, maybe $20, maybe $100. But they do it consistently. That small habit signals something important. They're thinking beyond this month. They're thinking about future freedom. And psychologically, that shift changes everything. Because wealth isn't built by massive actions. It's built by repeated small decisions. But here's where things get interesting. One of the biggest indicators of financial success actually looks like self-control. Not more income. Not better investments, just one simple behavior, and most people fail at it. Imagine you get a raise. Suddenly you're making more money. Most people react the same way. Bigger apartment, better car, more subscriptions, more spending. Within months, they feel broke again. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the biggest wealth traps in modern life. But if you're someone who increases income without immediately upgrading everything, you've created something powerful. A gap between what you earn and what you spend. And that gap becomes the engine that builds wealth. Here's another sign you're doing better than you think. Money isn't constantly stressing you out. You're not lying awake at night calculating worst-case scenarios. You're not avoiding your bank account because you're scared of what you'll see. Instead, money is something you manage, not something that manages you. That mental shift is huge, because financial stress traps people in short-term thinking. But financial stability creates space for better decisions. And better decisions compound over time. Here's the truth most people miss. Financial success doesn't suddenly appear when you become rich. It starts much earlier. It starts when your habits begin to look different from everyone else's. When you stop spending to impress people. When you start saving even small amounts. When you resist upgrading your lifestyle every time your income grows. Those behaviors might look small, but they're the exact patterns followed by people who eventually become wealthy. In other words, wealth doesn't start with money. It starts with behavior. So if you've ever felt like you're failing financially, take a second to look closer. If your bills are handled, if you have a little breathing room, if you save even small amounts, if you resist lifestyle inflation, and if money isn't constantly stressing you out, you might already be doing something powerful. You're building a financial system, and systems, not income, are what create long-term wealth. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. Because most people never learn the psychology behind money, and it's the difference between staying stuck and slowly building real wealth.